Lucky Lefty podcast. ONORA boys in the building. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Club going up on a Tuesday. I'm gonna have to put that sound effect in, bro. That's how we do it, man. YouTube, subscribe. We appreciate you, man. We keep getting new subscribers on a daily basis. Thumbs up, smash it for us, right? Share, notification bell. Man, every time we post something, you'll know. Audio edibles each and every day. Apple Podcast, Spotify, over at CFB Nation. Home of the misguided passion. You know, we kind of prompted the email. We felt that's the way we feel. You know, Lucky Lefty podcast. We spinning
Spinning
different.
different.
Today left, we're gonna have some fun, right? Big recruiting weekend. Coaches back on the road. We'll talk about what the coaches are doing. Taylor has spoken. We're gonna talk about the kids in the 25 class that Notre Dame has to do the most to get. Notre Dame fans, you decide whether or not you feel like they're worth it. And in order to acquire their services, you're going to have to work to the finish. It's just the way it is. 2, Notre Dame 24 signees become 5 stars. Left, I didn't even know this was possible. How are you enrolled in
Gaining stars
school
as a
and
commit.
gaining stars? Right. Like, you're a student in Notre Dame. How are you gaining stars? It's like, what did you do to gain a 5th star? I guess it
Yeah.
came from, watching the practices at the, All-Star game or the All-American Bowl or whatever. But couldn't you have given those stars
Before they got there, before the
at the end
2 or
of the
3
week?
practices.
Right. Like they had to have a month-long conference call to decide, okay, Bryce Young is a 5-star.
Because it took even less to drop him a star. So to gain a star, what's the process? Is it like it's like getting verified for Twitter? Got to put an application process in, and they accept or deny. Like, how does it work?
It's crazy, man. It is. You know what's worse than snow, Left? You
What?
know this. Growing up in the Midwest like we did, Left, snow is nothing, right? Because school's not getting canceled. You still have to go to school.
It'd take the blizzard of the century almost.
Blizzard of the century, right? Exactly.
Especially for private schools.
Exactly. So life continues. That's nothing for us growing up in the Midwest. The worst thing is when you get black ice.
The worst.
And you get the combination of snow with rain. And you really can't see it and you're driving. And it really doesn't matter if you have good tires or not. It doesn't.
Yeah. It's like you're on ice skates, literally.
Last night, it turned a 15-minute trip to my parents' house into a 40-minute trip.
Yep.
Because I just refused. I'm like, dude.
Like you could have almost walked to get there faster.
And I see people flying by me, and I'm like,
you like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. They can't care about their life.
Man. It is crazy. Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's talk about some of the guys in the 25 class that you have to do the most. I'm gonna start with Taylor.
Yeah, good start. Great
25
start.
kids, wide receiver. And I'm gonna allow you to, talk about his film. Because we haven't gone over his junior film here on the show. And some people asked for that. So we said, cool, we'll talk about it. But before doing that, man, I want to talk about where Notre Dame stands with Taylor. And where Notre Dame stands is in a really good spot. But it's almost like coming around the home stretch because he expects to make a decision in June. And that's not going to be changed, pushed. Great visit. He talked about how great his visit to Notre Dame, which is his 4th visit to Notre Dame this weekend for the junior day. It was fantastic. Him and his mom and his family, they have a plan. He has some more visits to take coming up soon. He's going to take more visits coming up in the spring, and then he's going to look to take his time and make a decision. So basically, the official visits are going to come up probably in May, April, May, and then he wants to make a decision in June. No problem with that, right? Well, what Notre Dame stands with him is that they're bunched, and we said this yesterday, they are bunched together with schools like Michigan, Ohio State, Tennessee, Miami, SEC schools. It is what it is. I mean, every big time program has offered this young man.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That makes sense.
Right?
Because he's like the 5'11 Debo size, right?
5'11, 175, but plays a lot bigger than that.
Right.
Plays a lot bigger than that. So coming out of this, I know people want to feel like, man, we got this kid, or we should be leading from this for this kid. And I try to tell people. I try to be upfront and personal and honest. I try to tell people, look here, man. These Chicago area kids are different, man.
Yeah.
It's different. We're gonna get to an Indianapolis kid, right? Well, the feeling should be Notre Dame should be leading for this kid. Why hasn't he committed? He's another kid that,
you got to do a little bit more.
Yeah, do a little more.
It's not gonna be no bird in the hand.
No, it's not a walk in the park, and that's okay, Left. That's absolutely okay. And I want people to understand that that's okay.
Yeah.
Because either you want these kids or you don't, man.
And to be in the fight is what matters. If you don't even get we used to not even, you see what I'm saying? Taylor 6 or 7 years ago, if we didn't think that he wanted us a little bit, we wouldn't even have called him.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, everybody's hot on you. We hot on you too.
And so with that, he's a young man that Notre Dame is going to have to continue to check in on, right? As I said, the benefit is Mike Brown has been recruiting this young man since his time in Cincinnati. That was before he made the move to Wisconsin. He's been on this kid, and he's been in close proximity. Cincinnati, Wisconsin got even closer. Matter of fact, Geneva is closer to the Wisconsin border than it is to the Indiana border. So he's been in close proximity. Man, I've seen him up close and personal, visited with the young man. He's come up to Wisconsin for visits. Everything is setting up for Notre Dame to be a major player for this kid. A major player for this kid. But they cannot do. There's a scripture that says, don't get weary in well doing.
Yeah.
Notre Dame cannot this staff cannot get to a point with a kid that has already established, this is my timeline. How can you be mad with someone that's already said, this is my process? Right? It's like dating, Left. You're dating somebody and you're trying to, lock in with this young lady. And her process is, I'm not trying to do anything serious right now. I'm just chilling right now. We can kick it, get to know each other. And maybe down the line, we can take it to the next step. If you're going to spend the majority of your time trying to speed up her process, you're fighting against yourself.
That's right.
You're fighting against yourself.
Fighting against yourself.
Yeah. And Notre Dame can't fight against themselves, man. Use the process. Use the process to your advantage. Your advantage is the pre-existing relationship with your wide receiver coach that is stronger and longer in tenure than the previous coach that just jumped on him.
Yeah.
Just a little bit over a year ago. You're talking about someone that's been on this kid for 3 years versus the previous coach that was on him for maybe a little bit over a year. That's an advantage with Mike Brown.
Yeah, it's one of those things where That's what matters to these kids. These a lot of these top guys are falling into categories and archetypes. He is very similar to what Carnell Tate wanted out of his college experience, was a receiver coach that can get him to the next level, has shown it before, has a close relationship. All things are included. And this is getting a guy like Mike Brown who knows about the Chicago area, who knows about building receivers and developing, been around some places, can use that as a staple for being at Notre Dame, because I feel like he's one of those hires. Well, he'll be there for enough time to see a class go through their whole time.
Yeah.
To see a 24 class to the end, see a 25 class to the end. He might have a lot of that within. And I think that these archetypes is not like we're recreating the wheel for some of these top players in recruiting. It's just a matter of getting in the game and having the right pieces, not just having all the things that can wow somebody or get somebody excited or interested. Literally, this is specific. You got the receiver coach that can get it done, boom. You got on the team that has a quarterback that can get you the ball, boom. Offensive coordinator in the right position. He just came off of a Heisman campaign with a guy that took 2 years of development. Great job. Boom. You're on a team with other great surrounding players. It's not like you just come into a bare cupboard. You got some stuff here. And then on top of that, it's Notre Dame. That's where Notre Dame has to be better in recruiting, is put the logo and the brand almost second and third. Because if you can do that, the brand speaks for itself. But leading with the brand is almost like you're going to Walmart to shop for something specific. It's like, yeah, the logo, wow, that can be overshadowing when you're leading with it, when it comes to, okay, but what does it mean for me? And for these top football players that we know are these 3-year guys that are going to be 3 and done and has a high ceiling for the NFL, you can't lead with the brand first. They just gonna be like, well, this ain't for me. I'm used to people making it about me because they know the benefit and return I can get in a short amount of time. This is a business relationship.
Right.
Notre Dame's selling experience every time. 4-for-48. Oh, you got touchdown Jesus, amenities, all types of stuff. But then the kids, after he done walked around the stadium 50 times and shuck every head on campus because everybody's friendly and seen the buildings looking like Harry Potter and tried the cafeteria food that's good, he's like, okay, now is my position coach, getting guys in the league? I mean, at some point, you're going to have that conversation. That needs to be almost more impressive to certain guys that we're recruiting. Because other than that, it's like going on a college tour as a high school kid. You just go to a bunch of different colleges. They walk you around, show you the different, classes they offer. Like, just imagine we taking Keon Keeley through the Mendoza College of Business. I mean, yeah, that's cool. But Keon Keeley thinking, I'm 3 and done. I might have to come back this summer. That's I'm glad it's available, but I might have to come back to finish. But we swear up and down he got 15 degrees he can get in this one building we trying to sell. Why? It's an aspect for kids that see the bigger picture. That's why you recruited them in the first place, right? Because you halfway can't even recruit some of these kids without that. So I think if we just not put the brand to the back, but make it more welcoming on a football level, it goes back to allowing us to have stars. Sam Hartman felt like a star coming in. Did he deserve it? That's up for question. But it's got to be like that on the recruiting side as well. Because at the end of the day, Notre Dame is very conservative in the fact that they like guarantees. And there's no guarantees in recruiting. I just think that's the biggest thing. Notre Dame is very calculated in everything that it does, clearly. So to be in a game where you're taking a lot of risk and liability, especially with kids, because think about it, Notre Dame's admission is hard enough. So just imagine their standard on admissions. You don't think that trickles down to how they feel about football team?
Mm-hmm.
So the state of mind ain't the same. You can't unrestrict yourself. I mean, they got themselves locked in on certain things that even the smartest of the smart have a hard time. So you think the football team is going to slide under the rug? It's hard. So that's the perception of a recruit that, they don't have no dog in the fight. They probably haven't even heard of Notre Dame. Didn't even know that it was in South Bend. Yeah. So just imagine a kid that you're trying to sell now that's been shopping around the country. It ain't like he's thirsty for a Notre Dame offer where he's been wearing a jersey since he was 5, and his dad and his mom and his cousins and his brothers and his grandpa and everybody went there. He's like, this is an even playing field. I'm just trying to go to the best place. So we can't get the sweetheart deal all the time, guys. It's okay. We got to make them love us too.
Yeah. I laugh, somebody in the chat said Chicago kids are soft. So I laugh. Because it's hard to be soft and have over 40 Hall of Famers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame from the city of Chicago. That's not soft.
That's right.
We can go down the list of Pro Bowlers and all pros that come from the city of Chicago. I mean, do your research.
That's right.
Like Kirby Puckett's soft. I guess he's soft. This is like I can go down the list of Major League Baseball players from Chicago. Soft. You know what Chicago players are? You know what Chicago kids are not? They're not enamored with brand. They're not enamored with Notre Dame because they grew up around it. On the basketball side, they're not enamored with Illinois basketball because they grew up around it. Just the fact that, you're the University of Illinois top 10 all-time college basketball program doesn't impress them. You're Notre Dame doesn't impress them. They grew up in this atmosphere. You're going to have to do something else to impress them. And if you're not willing to do that, doesn't impress them. That's why Duke can come in and get just about every big-time kid out of Chicago. That's why Kentucky could come in and get Anthony Davis and Derrick Rose. You know why? Because it's just not good enough to say, you're from Chicago. We're the University of Illinois. No, it's not good enough. That doesn't have the same impact on us. Sorry, it doesn't. If you thought Lightfoot, Scott, and every other kid was just supposed to fall out and fawn, no. I'm sorry. You know why? Just like Taylor, Michigan wants us. Ohio State wants us. And they keep putting first-round wide receivers in the NFL. You got to do more. It is what it is, right? Because the culture in Chicago is different. And you have to suffer from the fact that look, let's be honest. The previous head coach dropped the ball when it came to Chicago. He did not see Chicago and its athletes as a priority. He didn't. So now Marcus Freeman is working uphill, trying to establish something that should have already been a pipeline. And it's the same thing with Indianapolis, which leads us to our next guy that Notre Dame is going to have to do the most with. Because I guess Indianapolis kids are soft too. Because it's the same thing with Damian Shanklin. Because people feel like Damian Shanklin, man, what's the problem? He says he loves Notre Dame. Why isn't he committed? Have you seen his offers? Have you seen the schools that have produced first-round defensive linemen that are after him? That's why he's going to take his time. That's why he's going to listen to other schools, as reported by Ryan Roberts. So you can't get frustrated. You have to put in the work for these top talented kids. Because the assumption left is, with them being so close, they should automatically just fawn and fawn over the mystique and just commit to Notre Dame. That's not how that works, man. That's not how that works for kids that are closer to your program. That's not how that works. They grew up in that culture. They know. You have to do a little bit more. You have to show them what is it about you that causes me to be able to trust that I'm going to get the best out of me during my time in Notre Dame. And it's a challenge that people on the staff, they're going to have to be willing. And I'm not saying, you know, I don't even know what the best example would be. What's an embarrassing thing you ever saw someone do to gain the attention of another person? Left.
And I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen the common guys try to clown on their homeboy in front of the ladies.
Yeah.
And, you know, dirty macking. I done seen guys be at the basketball court and try to play a little bit better. Now all of a sudden you Gary Payton on defense. And,
hard foul.
Dennis Robin in the paint, you know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, Ashley just came in. Okay, I see. Yeah, all right. So yeah, the willingness of people to get out of character to try to impress somebody is, you know, it's so many great experiences, funny experiences, but it's about standing out, and that's the whole point. And finding a way to be unique amongst the crowd is something that Notre Dame has relied on for so long with this 4 for 40, the brand, the independent, the TV, prime time, the accolades, this good number one team. So we've been great at putting on the persona, the brand. But now it's time to just be courting people in a very nurturing way. It's almost like we're overshadowing the process when we come in with this big brand mentality, coming, you know, to this unique, mysterious place where we'll whisk you in for 4 years and you'll come out an ND man, you know, that whole thing. So I think once it's geared, and I think having Marcus Freeman in that position of framing the right state of mind for the program, kids are going to start, like we talked about, that narrative change. Oh, it's not just some house on the hill. It's Notre Dame. That's Marcus Freeman. That's the gang. They popping over there. Yeah, it got some challenges and stuff, but it's worth it. It's like, as long as Marcus Freeman keeps displaying that it's worth it, recruiting is going to be on top. That's how we got on top the last 24, 25, and even the 23 class. Because he shows that all of the stuff it takes is still worth it. It's still worth it.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. So Damian Shanklin is another young man where you have to be willing to stay on him. And there's no excuse not to be in constant contact, not to go see him when he's that close. It's the same thing for the Chicago kids. I'll ask somebody from the 24 class. It's not Chris Burgess Jr. It's not over. It is not over, Notre Dame fans. Please do not become lax in retaining this young man. Did you see who the 4 finalists was? Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. Do you think any one of those schools are going to give up? Now, Alabama might take a step back because of Kalen DeBoer. But I think you might see somebody like Kirby Smart, Georgia, jump into the fray come this spring. Similar to the way the Ohio State, other schools, Colorado, Alabama, jumped into the fray for Justin Scott in January. You're going to see other big-time programs all of a sudden jump into the fray. Deuce Knight just got an offer. You can add him to the list. You're going to have to continue. You're going to have to do the most to show him. And I think Deuce is locked in. And Notre Dame is going to have to continue to show him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Dude, the dude just got an offer from Kalen DeBoer, who just had the best left-handed quarterback in the nation for the last 2 years. You think Kalen DeBoer can't relate and can't tell him, I know exactly how to develop you and make you a first-round quarterback. Alabama just offered Deuce yesterday. Yo, this is what it is. Brian Kelly told you we have to shop down a different aisle because he didn't want to get in the fight. He wanted to avoid the big heavyweight. He wanted to avoid the big heavyweight matchup. He wanted no part of it. Marcus Freeman and his staff, they have changed that narrative. They want all the smoke. But when you want all the smoke, you have to be willing to give it and take it. You got to be willing to give it and take it. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But like we said, Love, it's just as important now to come in second in recruiting as it is to get a kid off the bat. Because you never know what kid is going to transfer or be in the portal or get the opportunity to move schools because their coach took another job. You never know how the landscape is going to change year to year.
You don't. And you have to be adaptable, for sure.
Yeah. Like I said before, there's schools that are going after Taylor that have bought real estate in the city and are willing to take helicopters and do all types of other things. You don't have to attack it that way, but you got to do something.
Gotta do something.
You have to counter it somehow, some way. And I think what you're saying, Left, in these instances, you have to have adaptability. Because with the majority of kids that Notre Dame recruits, you can lead with the mystique. You can lead with 4 for 40. You can, or 4 for forever. You can lead with those things. And it's going to make a hell of an impact.
Hell of an impact. And I think that's the lasting impact of where retention comes in, because I do believe to be who we are and where we are as a program, I do think we do a good job of having retention of guys believing in the program enough to let themselves develop.
Mm-hmm.
Even guys that may not have gotten the most out of it, they still stuck around as long as they could. The Prince Collies, right? The Jalen Sneeds, the guy, the Nolan Zieglers. I mean, at least guys have put in a couple years to let it play out. So I do think that shows strength in the program. I mean, to bring in your franchise sack leader back after a great year, to get guys that transfer in that want to stay another year, it shows that there is a certain quality of what, once you get there, guys really enjoy it. You know what I mean? Guys are like, okay, I see what it is now. So now that it becomes something that you can build off of, I think is, like you said, opening the door now is got to be the next step. How do you make that easier? You got guys doing a lot to get through the door, but if getting through the door not was easier, but was more tailored and more inviting to who we want, you know, life can be, like I said, we choose to want to win and choose when we want to win. We got all the resources to win, but it has to be a mindset in the program. And I think with Pete Bravaco and Marcus Freeman's combination, you're making a step in the right direction.
And you know what opens the door, Left?
What?
Win big games. How about that?
That's it.
How about that?
That's it. That's the great equalizer.
You want to open the eyes of the 24, 25, 26 kids? Or the 25, 26 kids, shall I say? Win big games.
Yeah.
Win playoff games. If Marcus Freeman does that, if he does that with who he is, the recruiters he has on his staff,
that's where it all connects. That's where it all comes together.
We can talk about Notre Dame administration. We can talk about NIL. We can talk about transfers. We can all of that. You know how we can bypass all of that? That keeps Notre Dame fans going back and forth about what should be done? winning big games on the field. We can bypass all of that. All of that. Just win. Next year, smack Texas A&M, smack
Smack.
Louisville, smack Florida State, and then get it done in the playoffs. And watch how that 25 class is solidified. Just watch. Watch how easier it becomes when the kids actually see the manifestation of what you've been saying to them on the field and other young men.
That's right. That's right. And KVA is a great example of replacing and gaining back that the fact that we've produced. So when you talk about linebackers at Notre Dame, in reality, the ones we've had have been very, very memorable, very impactful. And I think a lot of that comes to guys winning the Buckets Award, guys being in the conversation of some of the greatest linebacking play in the country each and every year. I think that's a very attractive piece to linebacker recruits because that's the sealing deal for me. When you think about a guy like KVA who has all the offers in the world, but he can turn on the TV on Sunday where he wants to be and find Notre Dame linebackers making plays each and every week.
Yeah.
He go to Notre Dame recruiting and they selling, oh, you the next Buckets guy. We 3 out of 4 years, three out of 5 year Buckets a winner. That's dealing with 50% of KVA recruiting right there.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You telling me if we didn't have some Bolitnikovs in the last 2 or 3 years, some top receivers in the draft the last 2 or 3 years, we couldn't snag some top. Carnell would be at Notre Dame. Carnell would be at Notre Dame. So as much as we like to display a variety of resources that we have, we got to put more wins on the board and trophies in the cases. Because Marcus Freeman can only talk good for so long.
That's it, Left. Like, how long do you expect? And this is in life, right? I do. As a father, I had to learn this young, right? Like, my wife had to tell me that you cannot, like, your daughter does not understand your life. She does not understand that you have multiple responsibilities in life that pull on your time. So you can't tell her we're going here at this time on this day, and then you don't do it, and then don't explain why it did. And even if you explain why, it still doesn't change the fact that you told her this and it didn't happen.
That's right.
And she explained that to me early, dude. And it was a great, I'm glad she said it because I was able to lock in. And if I wasn't positive, I wasn't going to speak.
That's right.
But once you speak it, you have to back it up. And that's in recruiting as well. Like when you speak it to young men, they have to see it in the young men that you already have.
That you already have, because
That you
that's what they're
already
looking at.
have.
That's what
Absolutely.
they're looking at.
So there are certain things which honestly is amazing to me, Left, because what they're doing to change the quarterback room has happened without the proof on the field, to be honest.
Without it. Yep.
And that's absolutely amazing.
You garner a CJ Carr and Deuce Knight off of Drew Pine and Sam Hartman. That means that they couldn't have been making a decision off of that. Couldn't have. There's no way you look at the play at the quarterback position at Notre Dame, the turnover of coaching on offense at Notre Dame, and the non-success of quarterbacks from Notre Dame in the last 7 years. There's no equation to be like, oh, if I'm a top recruit, that's all signs point to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of questions, and it feels like a lot of risk for a status as high as I am. Deuce Knight might be the number 2 or number 1 dual threat or top prospect in the class. which means he can go any and everywhere he chooses to go. He picks the school. And for him to go to look at Notre Dame and be like, okay, how do I see myself here? Well, they got turnovers at the coaching position, turnover at the quarterback position, guys that I don't see the talent that I have in there. So what do they want with me? The last couple of years, yeah, they've won games, but it hasn't been because of the quarterback. So how does a guy like Deuce Knight fall in love with a Notre Dame program that hasn't shown you the success of like an Alabama, a Clemson, an Ohio State, an Oklahoma, an Oregon? If you think about it, we probably the bottom, or Texas, we're probably the bottom 25 in terms of just impact of the quarterback room in the country. I can name 25 quarterback rooms that have been better than us in the last 5 or 6 years.
You said you can name how many?
About 25 from rooms.
You know, Left,
and
I
talent.
initially, the number kind of shocked me at first, and I was ready to push back, but I would have to deliberate on it. Because, I mean, man, schools like Boise State could probably stake a claim that their quarterback play has been better.
I've seen all Mountain West teams, all MAC teams, because of CBS and doing it. Liberty's quarterback is better and their room is better. So it's like from a just vacuum, the talent production of the Notre Dame quarterback room is bottom 25.
I wouldn't say bottom 25, but it
production.
But that's what makes what they've been able to do in a short time impressive with that.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what Deuce Knight's looking at.
Right.
Dude's not looking at a room like, oh, this is LSU. You got Jaden Daniels, you got Gary Nussmeier, the Heisman in here, or Florida State. They got top quarterback Jordan Trapp. What was the news coming out? When was the last time the news was coming out of Notre Dame because of the quarterback and the impact the quarterback had? When the last time a quarterback's been on the magazines for Notre Dame? We're not counting Sam Hartman because that's a paid job. That's a hired gun. That was the poster child. But when has it been news for, oh, there you go, another Indy quarterback 300 yards on his way to sitting in New York? When even teams that pop up every now and again get random with a superstar quarterback. I mean, even Northwestern got some guys that can win them 10 games every now and again. So for us, like you said, to close that gap and be competitive with some of the top quarterbacks in the country and not having production that you would think would sway a guy left or right just shows that Marcus Freeman knows that everything else he's building makes sense. Everything else he's building makes sense because it's still bringing guys' attention over there.
Yeah.
So now I just feel like that last piece of a guy to come in there and just take advantage of how nice the program is set up. This is not a struggle bus situation, Sean. You know that. I mean, we just went down a list of recruits.
Right.
We just went down the number of potential NFL players on defense and offense next year. Schedule's lighter than a guy that's 125 soaking wet. I mean, if I'm Riley Leonard, I'm very excited. Very excited.
Now you have to understand, like, for example, CJ Carr committed before that he saw it down from Sam Hartman last year. Deuce Knight committed, I believe, on September 18th. They had played Navy, They had played what 4 games by that time, and I think they were getting ready to play Ohio State. That was the week before the Ohio State game. What did he see from the quarterback position after that Ohio State game, or from that Ohio State game moving forward, that would make him say, yeah, that's definitely the place I want to be?
Wait a minute. Remember.
Like, no, my point is his commitment stayed through what you consider is a questionable, because see, most people will say, well, Notre Dame's offense was top 10. Man, this is Notre Dame. I don't care what they did against Tennessee State. I don't care what they did against Navy. Give me the offensive stats against Duke. Give me the offensive stats against Ohio State. Give me the offensive stats against USC. And they blew USC out.
Heck, talk about how you was there when Deuce was there in the spring, standing in the middle of the field. What you think he saw at practice?
No. This goes back to understanding, and this is where I give Gino Guidugli credit.
Yeah.
I literally watched in a spring practice Gino Guidugli walk to the middle of the field.
Yep.
Talk to Marcus Freeman, and with a host of other recruits in the building. The building was full. I watched him motion to Deuce Knight. Come here.
Yep.
Come stand next to me and watch practice.
And watch these skelly drills of quarterbacks skipping rocks.
No, they weren't skipping rocks. Come on. Come on.
I'm just saying, like,
my point is,
based off of your report, you said there was a clear winner.
No. That was like in the open. This was like scrimmages and stuff. This wasn't, Hey, I stand by what I saw from 18.
And Deuce saw the same thing.
He probably did. And this was a different day, though. This was a different day. This wasn't the first day of practice. I was talking. That was literally like the first couple of days of practice.
The first couple throws of the year.
Yeah. So that was saying things have changed. Steve is a much better quarterback. But my point is, in that moment, Gino Guidugli made a strategic. He didn't say, well, I don't want others to think Deuce is more important than them. He is.
He is.
On this day, he is more important than the rest of you.
Especially setting up the class.
Yes, Deuce. Come stand on this field next to me.
For the entire of practice. The class. I gotta have a lighthouse of the class.
Absolutely. There is no, we don't want anybody to think they're big. Excuse me? There are always 2 or 3 more important recruits in every class. Every class. Like Deuce Knight was vitally important. And they showed him on that day. Hey, come on.
We care a little bit more.
Because I didn't see anybody else getting invited on the field on the defensive side or the offensive side. No one else was like, yo, come stand over here with me as the wide receiver coach. Nobody. Gino Guidugli, though, was like, hey, we need this dude. We got to make him feel real special today.
That's it.
That's part of recruiting, man. And if people want to scoff at that, like, no, you shouldn't do that. Okay. All right. You have to do it. Now, you can be a goofy like Jerry Krause and show up at the airport with Benny the Bull for Tracy McGrady when that has nothing to do with whether or not Tracy McGrady is going to choose the Chicago Bulls over the Orlando Magic.
That's right.
You can be goofy about it, or you can do it the right way. So we're not asking Notre Dame to do it the Miami way or do it the way the other schools are choosing to do it. But you're going to have to find a real subtle way to counter and say, hey, you're vitally important to us too. That's it. That's it.
All it's about. So
Chris Burgess Jr., I stay on him. Deuce Knight, stay on him. 25 class, Damian Shank. Yep, you have to do the most. Taylor. Yep, you have to do the most. What is Owen Stribick telling you? He's been to Notre Dame 6 times. He hasn't pulled the trigger. What is he telling you? All right, yeah, I've been 6 times, but hey, my process is my process.
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna make a decision when I'm ready. And yo, I believe Elizabeth Crook earlier in the show put in the chat, these kids are telling you how to court them. Yes, they are. Yes. They're telling you, man, this is what I need. And if that's perceived as being soft or extra, it is what it is. They're being upfront. They're telling you, yo, this is our process.
And that's what you love. You love the fact that we got a system in place. That's all we need, a system in place.
Mm-hmm. And then we can end it. You already know. It can be an advantage that his brother won the buckets at Notre Dame. It can be an advantage that his brother has a degree from Notre Dame. It can be an advantage that his parents love the way they treated his brother during his time in Notre Dame. All of that can be advantages. But you got to fight off Kirby. You got to fight off Kalen DeBoer. You got to fight off the Miami
How much
staff.
do you got to fight off Kalen DeBoer, you think? Do you think that's a harder? I think him and Elko.
It's still Alabama. You have to fight off Elko now that has a bigger brand behind him. Because Elko was recruiting him when he was at Duke.
True.
Think about the audacity of Elko recruiting the kid who's originally from North Carolina at Duke. You don't think he's going to come after him at Texas A&M?
That's right.
And we already said how important it was to get him on campus because IMG has become a feeder to SEC programs.
That's it. That's what it is. It's a feeder program. They're right in the backyard of all the schools that are surviving in the SEC.
Yeah. It is. It's going to be challenging, man. I think the staff is up to the challenge, Left. I flat out think the staff is up for the challenge. Oh, dude. Marcus Freeman continues to prove that he wants all the smoke. All of it. But you got to, it's certain kids in every class that you have to elevate above everybody else. Do you see the value of making Deuce Knight feel special?
Yes, and it's little stuff. That didn't cost. Gino Gaduli pulling him to the middle didn't cost any NIL.
It didn't cost a thing. It was a very subtle move, a very strategic move to let him know you're our dude.
You our guy.
You're our dude. Now, you know, NIL and all those other conversations, like these kids aren't stupid. They know their value. Especially when you have coaches coming out saying, oh, the quarterback is worth this much. Goofies. Why are you even saying that? Now you're saying that you're telling these young high school kids, oh, word? That's the going rate? Man, I was kind of lowballing myself. Now that I know that information, yo, this is where it starts. These coaches need to stop complaining because you're giving away too much information. Stop complaining. Play the game. Play the game. You can still pull 4 or 5 books if you don't have a big joker or a little joker in your hand. If you know what to do with the hand. Play the hand that you're dealt. And right now with this 25 class, with Notre Dame pretty much being 50% done, just play the hand you dealt now. Heck, Deuce Knight is a big joker. when it comes to attracting other great players. But you got to keep that big joker in the class. You got to retain that dude. Chris Burgess Jr. is a big joker. You got to keep the little joker. You got to keep him. I would never call a defensive end a big joker in comparison to a quarterback in a recruiting class. Either he's the ace of spades or he's the little joker. But you gotta keep him in the class. You got to keep him in the class. Lucky Lefty podcast. We get on the other side of this left. We're gonna look at some film, but we're gonna talk about some other things to expect from the wide receiver position. Left is gonna tell you the must MVPs of the wide receiver room, the guys that need to step up. And he's going to predict who he thinks those guys are. But before we go, Left, do you have tattoos, Left?
I do.
I have 3. How many do you have, Left?
I got a full sleeve and a side piece on my ribs on my left side.
See, I am jealous because I've always wanted a sleeve. And the only reason I didn't get a sleeve is because of my position in ministry.
Now, okay, now how do you feel about it now? Because I feel like that was a thought maybe, what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
I've
Because now I
always...
know you see media guys are all type of looks, you know.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about from like a ministry standpoint? Absolutely. I know plenty of guys that have sleeves, and you know, my brother's a praise and worship leader, and he has a double sleeve. So for me, I just always took it into consideration. I've always been a proponent of, you know, artwork that has meaning.
That's right.
Right. So
That's
my
right.
entire back is a cross with angel wings that represents my call and certain things that are like really important to me. That's my back. My arm, my left arm is my wife's name. And then over my heart.
Did you do the matching tattoos, or you just got that on your own?
No, we went and got it together. We went and got it together. We got married in April, and then that summer we went and got 2 different fonts. My font is different than hers, but I have her name on my left arm, and she has my name on her left arm.
Yeah, that's real.
And my 3rd one I got was right after my daughter was born.
Yep.
The footprint that they take in the hospital, I got that footprint over my heart.
Wow.
So I've always been a proponent, like, yo, if you're going to get a tattoo, it has to be meaningful. It has to be meaningful. Now, others just get it for artistic expression, and that's fine as well. You know, I'm not saying that's the way it has to be. I'm just all about it.
Yeah, I think that's you know, the main thing, the reason why I like tattoos as well is because of that.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they got some meaning, great storytelling, great expression of art. And it's funny how...
Wait a minute. Coach Vic, hey, dude. Coach Vic, this is so true. Because I've known since I was 13 that I had a call. My brother has always, my youngest brother is a worship leader, and it's a 5-year difference between us. My little brother got an earring when he was 14 left on his own. He just went to, I don't know how, he went to the mall and got his ear pierced at 14. He got a tattoo when he was 16 left. 16. You know what the tattoo was, Left? This dude went and got the Playboy bunny on his left arm, dog.
Oh, Jesus.
My parents lost it, dude.
Yeah, because for what? Like, for
my
what?
parents lost it.
On the, like, big or little or what?
It was, you know, the little Playboy bunny, you know, he got the tattoo. So my dad made him get something else. He didn't tell him he couldn't have a tattoo, but he was like, yo, you got to get something else. So,
Yeah.
his boy did a nice
That just
cover
can't be
piece.
singularly hanging on your body.
Right. So he got him a nice little piece to cover that up, and then he put his nickname, which is J Rock. That's what we call him, over the top of the art. So, yes, Coach Vic, I agree. Worship leaders always get away with more. I agree wholeheartedly, man. Wholeheartedly. Lucky Lefty podcast. That's funny. That's absolutely funny. Man, it's a debate. What's the debate going on about people that played? I see it's pretty hot in the chat, man. So, Left, did you see this? I say that to say this. All right, check this out.
Show me.
Jamal Moses is a good friend of mine. I had him in Cleveland.
Hey, man.
Oh yeah, I seen that clip. Yeah, we got to talk about that.
I know. I hit the wrong clip. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong clip. I want to make sure I get the right one. I hope I hit the right one this time.
You better put Josh up there. I would put him in front of Lamar. The way.
No.
I'll say. Already. Don't get me started.
That's a preview of 2 clips coming. Stay around, guys, because we have about 2 or 3 people to put on the petty train.
That's right.
2 or 3 people to put on the petty train. But like, how do you feel, Left? My thing is, how do you feel about tattoos and getting them done as far as sports teams?
Like people tatting sport teams on them?
Yeah, like how loyal are you to your sports team as a fan?
Yeah, it's so fickle, man. I think if you're gonna do it, you gotta have one of them double, triple entendres where it means 5 different things. Because if you just getting the logo now and you don't own no part of the team, you ain't no season lifetime ticket holder. Your cousin, your grandpa, your brother ain't played, your dad ain't played. If you don't even live in the same area code as the team,
right?
You looked at real different.
So
now, some guys,
would you get an ND tatted on you at some point?
Man, listen, I think some guys do. And I think that ND is tatting ND, they probably gonna charge you 23% for licensing fees. But I think that it's cool, man, because it shows what really means to some people. I mean, Notre Dame does a really good job of recruiting people that seem to put an ND tat on them. I know many teammates that have.
Really?
And, this
is new information. I don't even know. Notre Dame fans would love to know. Like, what percentage would you put on Notre Dame players that actually get the ND or something connected to
Notre Dame? Now it's more niche. I would say a 5%. Because you got to think not everybody got tattoos, but other guys you come across, especially guys that I know this is messed up to say, guys that probably wouldn't have expected to be at Notre Dame. Some of them gotten tatted like, man, if I had made it here type of thing. And it's a step in life. I think it shows an accomplishment, a progress, a journey that you made through it. Notre Dame means a lot to certain people in that regard. So it is funny. I have seen some guys from nothing to Notre Dame tatted on them for sure.
Wow. Lucky Lefty podcast. I would have never known that was the case. Here it is, Left. So check this out. Just check this out.
I'm speechless, bro. I got nothing to say.
That's right. That's right. Cry.
Bills fan named Derek went ahead and got a Bills logo with the Super Bowl logo for this year tattooed on his arm.
Cry harder.
And Pat Mahomes sent him home.
But what was he expecting? Pat Mahomes still in the league. Pat Mahomes is still playing football.
See, this is what I'm saying. You got to be careful, man. You got to be careful, bro. Now,
He don't want to smell coffee.
everybody cannot be the 85 Bears. Actually recording the Super Bowl shuffle in the middle of the season. You can't do that. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do
You
that.
said they recorded in the middle of the season.
They recorded the Super Bowl shuffle in the middle of the season, Left. That's a fact. Everybody can't be the 85 Bears. Everybody can't be Patrick Mahomes and book the Airbnb next to the
building
stadium.
A house next to the stadium a summer in advance. Dream house right next to the Super Bowl every year. He said, y'all done moved in. The family done been there. We done had holidays there already.
Clark Hunt on the phone like, hey, Pat. Yeah, man, we can't do the Tyreek deal, dog. We're going to have to let him walk. You cool with that? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. We just don't want to give him that much money up front. Can you make it happen? Yes, sir. I can make it happen.
Hey, make it happen.
Hey, honey, they just let Tyreek go to Miami. Book that Airbnb. We're going to the Super Bowl. Everybody can't be Pat Mahomes. Everybody can't be Pat Mahomes. You can't.
Hey, they just let go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, just book it. Yeah, go ahead. Put the money in. Get the one with the nice window front where we can bike to the stadium. Everything's open because it's early in the year.
Right.
It's early in the year. Ain't nobody booking stuff. Man, ultimate flex.
My man, and his boys are bogus. But his boys probably told him, like, hey, man, let us get through this Pat Mahomes game first. Like, at least let us get through the Chiefs.
He ain't had no real friends, but he ain't had no real football friends that were unbiased. He must have had. He was in the Buffalo cult.
Is there anybody
congregation?
Is there anyone that got an ND tattoo that you said, "Are you sure, man"?
Rico Flores.
Wow.
So, like, what? Like, it don't make no sense, man. It don't make no sense. I even think Devontae Neal got an ND tat. So,
you said Devontae Neal got one?
Yeah.
Really?
Like a small one.
Devontae, he played halfback, fullback for a while.
Yeah. So it's just like, come on, guys. That's why you can't, in my opinion, get a tattoo off the moment of something that you go through. You know what I mean?
Man, Lucky Lefty podcast, man. That's crazy. I just can never do it. I know that for sure.
Not no school, man.
No, I could never do that.
Because what if the school got some crazy allegations? Like, they got bodies under the campus or something. You gonna be repping that? You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what. Now, it makes sense when it's your kid.
Because people told me I was crazy when I got my wife's name tattooed.
First of all,
and I'm like,
people love to be negative on people's relationships.
Facts.
That's just, they're gonna be hating regardless. But and then it's like everybody loves to be that hindsight, I told you so type of person anyway. Oh, I told you it was gonna know. But you're not gonna touch your significant other if you don't mean it. Even if you meant it in the moment, for it to be on your body. I know you probably had to think long and hard, like, yeah, this is real, playing around. And only you would know. So it don't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't really care. And it wasn't even a thought. Like, all of my tattoos have been spontaneous, Left. Like, literally, I was at the crib and I was like, I'm about to go do this. And I literally got up and did it.
Did it done, yeah.
Like, me and my wife. It was just like a conversation, like, yo, it'd be dope. What, we got each other's names. Oh, yeah, let's go do it. We went and did it.
Yeah, that's cool, though.
I was literally sitting in the house, and I was like, yo, I want a tattoo for my birthday. And I was like, but it's got something that really means something. And I was like, yo, I know exactly what I want to get. I told my wife, and she was like, you gonna get your whole back tatted? I was like, yeah. Got up, drove to the north side to Jade Dragon, got the tat. Took all night. I broke one of the artist's guns. He had to use 2 guns to finish it. But hey, and the same thing with my daughter. I looked at her one day and was like, yo, I'm getting this. So it is what it is. Wide receivers left. Very important because we talk about the next step that Notre Dame needs to take in the passing game. And we've been talking about must-haves for Notre Dame in recruiting. In order for Notre Dame to take the next step in the passing game, we know how important the quarterback position is, including incoming freshmen, current guys, and the transfer portal. Who are your guys that must become dudes? These are the guys that must make the big plays in the biggest moments for Notre Dame. Give me your top 3. This
Jeremiah Love.
In the passing game, you throwing him into the passing game, huh?
Yeah, because I think we gotta use Jeremiah Love more than just handing the ball off.
Okay.
Chris Mitchell. And then I wanted to be a guy in-house. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a guy in-house. Maybe a Jaden Thomas or a Deion Cosley get on speed, or
which would be on brand. Because Notre Dame is notorious for guys in their senior year.
That's what I'm saying. The senior year guy. And you know what's even cooler? Denbrock knows that. Denbrock was there during times, he knows what so I think, and why it's important is because that way is throughout the room. Every part of the receiver room plays a part. And the running back room, because one of the running backs gonna have to have some receptions. In just my opinion, in terms of being a throwing behind the line of scrimmage type of offense. Because I take Jeremiah Love in space. I take him running up the middle. I take him one-on-one on a linebacker. A Kyron Williams type.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams was a top 3 reason for the passing game in 2017. Or what was that? 2019. It was him, Kevin Austin, and Michael Mayer.
He had big moments. He had big moments in the passing game. He did.
Yeah, him, Kevin Austin, and Michael Mayer. Those were so it should be Jeremiah Love. And it's easy to say a tight end, but man, I think we have so much that we've brought in and so much to be expected for with Denbrock, and how he just had 2 NFL outside receivers. It's like, come on. Tight end is going to be obviously that constant, but at like a 3B, like you don't really have to say nothing because that's going to be in there,
Yeah.
But it can't be 1 or 2.
Right.
That was been our problem. They've been 1 or 2 for like the last 8 years. Like it need to be a real good, like, okay, now at Kansas City, Travis Kelce is a 1, and we get that. And tight ends have had some similar production as a 1 in our offense. We got Tyler Eifert, we got Michael Mayer, Cole Kmet. But in my opinion, we've seen the ceiling with how far that can go with them being number 1. That's all I'm saying. We know we can get them drafted. We know we can get some really good ones in. But that hasn't been a formula for a national championship team throwing the football to their tight end as their number 1 guy. That just hasn't been the thing. So if we can have a great production, but as a 3, which forces everybody else to step their game up, I think we can really do something special this year.
I'm sorry about that. You gave me something to think about, because I did not think about the tight end dynamic. I was thinking strictly, I'm going to stick to strictly wide receivers.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I need Cam Williams because I know a lot of people. I need Cam Williams.
See,
I need no. He's not on my list. He's not on my list.
Okay.
But I want to explain why. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with his talent.
Right.
If his talent forces its way into a position to be a
Then
dude,
let it happen.
Rico
You don't
Flores,
like the premature stuff.
Yeah, Rico Flores wasn't he. That was forced. They
That was
forced
premature and
they
forced.
forced Rico a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't want that for Cam Williams. If Cam Williams can come in and I don't know how I just muted myself. If Cam Williams can come in and do what Tobias Merriweather did this year,
or Chris Brown in 2012,
exactly, or which is what just be the big play dude in big moments.
Just
That's
be
Chris
a big
Brown
play dude.
with the big play speed dude.
You got big play.
Multiple
We're not asking
times.
you run slants. Why? You will have more impact running these posts, running these, because nobody really knows yet.
Exactly.
Get your feet wet. Don't overcomplicate. Catch the ball. Wow some people. And then you work your way down into the option routes and all the other stuff, you know.
I said Notre Dame dropped the ball on Tobias Merriweather's development. I've been upfront about that. I said what we saw from him this year should have been his freshman year stats. Give me 14 catches, 300 yards, averaging 20 yards a catch with a couple of touchdowns. If I can get that from Cam Williams as a freshman, I'm good. I'm good because I know the next step is coming. I know he's a big play dude. That's all you want from your freshman. If you can get some big plays and moments, that's great. I don't need him to have to come in and be a dude.
Right.
Chris Mitchell, I need you to be a dude. You're number one on my list.
You
have to come here and continue.
He was two on mine, I think. We both had him, right?
Yes. Like, dude, get Chris. Bo Collins, hey man. The moniker at Clemson is that the production never matched the expectations. Hey, you got a clean slate here, bro. With a better quarterback, in my opinion. I understand you had to deal with DJ Uiagalelei and you had to deal with Cade Klubnik. That's not a lot for you to work with as a wide receiver. My heart goes out to you, young man. My heart goes out to you. But you're at Notre Dame with a better quarterback.
Yeah.
And Mike Denbrock. Let's go get it done, Bo. Let's go get it done. Let's go get it done. I don't care about Clemson, right? Because at Clemson, they might have wanted you to be the next Mike Williams, put up 80 catches for like 1,200 yards. All we want is 50, maybe 40. That's it. That's all. That's it.
Does Bo Collins have elite talent though? That's the question.
Does he have to be
he has
elite?
elite size.
Johnny Wilson is not elite. But Johnny Wilson was consistent at Florida State as a big physical receiver.
Yes.
That's it.
I don't think that Bo Collins is the physical Johnny Wilson
not as big as but style of play.
And then I also think though why it's important is because the talent has to be elite due to the fact that the ball isn't just spread around to try to see if guys are elite this year. Because we got go-tos. You see what I'm saying? And then so when your plays come in moments, that's where you got to be elite. We don't want to see the Clemson Bo Collins when it's third down and you may not have gotten the ball all game, but we need you to catch it this time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Mitchell will get more receptions. I just think that watching him, he has a knack for the football, or maybe that was just a relationship with his quarterback. But he has a knack to get open. And for a guy like Riley Leonard, he'll be looking at Bo Collins for the big plays, the jump balls, I can imagine, the one-on-ones in the red zone. And that's a niche position. That's a niche thing because now you got to go in and it's not like you got all the space in the world. Maybe you got to go against bump and run because it's short distance and you got to make a one-hand tough grab. That's where the elite skills have to show because you just can't – because you coming in just being good has proven that it's just not good enough amongst a good team. You just won't ever show – you would never stand out to make yourself seem like it was worth it. Brandon Joseph was a good player. He didn't stand out in the defense. And he couldn't come back because of it. Sam Hartman didn't stand out, and we forced it, and it was conjecture with that. Jack Cohn earned it. Because Jack Cohn did things we didn't expect. He had moments. Gave us way more wins than we expected in the transition year. And dealt with playing half the time. He played great in moments. Transfers have to play great in moments at Notre Dame. You an all-around great player, yeah, but at Notre Dame, the ball is only one of them. And you got guys that got the most receptions in college last year. You got guys that are coming from an elite program. You got guys that are expected to be number one quarterback in the draft next year. You got running backs that are 3 and done. You got a couple of those in the tank. Obviously, you can just close your eyes and pick a tight end in the dark room and come out with something.
Yeah.
So you got to know to play your role. And you've seen how it doesn't work for some guys. Now, obviously, with Lorenzo Styles, there was a coaching thing, this, that, and the third, but he had to find his role in that position. He had to find his way in, his way to stay. Because offense changed, over that time too.
Yeah.
So it can be frustrating if you can't adapt and go with the flow because Notre Dame has a lot of talent on his hands more times than not. So it's different than being a guy where you get 30 shot attempts a game. You come into a place where you get PJ Tucker minutes. You might go 48 minutes with 10 rebounds and 0 shot attempts.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, how do we win every year? Because it ain't just one dude. It's never just a one-man effort in a Notre Dame win. That's why we're consistent, as a team. What gets us over the hump is having that dude on top of that.
Who's gonna be that dude? Yeah.
You got a good team because everybody plays their part, they do their role, they got talent. You add a dude in the mix, you winning championships. We have a team with a bunch of guys that are okay, yeah, we're not worried about the schedule. But when we play them teams and now everything's shake to the bottom of the jar, okay, it's some competition around. Who gonna be that dude that's like, I'm here? Who gonna be our Tyrann Mathieu? Our Jalen Ramsey, our Keon Coleman. So it's a balance. I think this is where Marcus Freeman learns offense a lot more because he's gonna have to. Now the spotlight is even more concentrated on him. Because now you're getting further and further away from it just being a program you took over. Now it's your program. Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma State, okay, yeah, you did some good things, but it's flash in the pan, It was good to see. We know it's not your fault. This ain't all your people you want. Next year, okay, we weaning off of what we wanted to do. Weaning off of it, so okay, you take some lumps. Now you in year 3, it's like, all right, man. All right now. What we doing? Where we going? So I think that's where we are at this point.
It's funny because there's a conversation going on where we're going to end this show talking about what's fair to the Notre Dame quarterback room and quarterbacks in general when it comes to wins and losses, right? Because, that's applied to quarterbacks. That you lose a game, that goes on your record, bro. There is no win-loss record for a defensive end, a running back, an offensive lineman. It's only the quarterbacks that get that applied to them. We're going to end the show with that because it connects to the expectations with Riley Leonard that I think are unfair. And Left thinks they're on par. But like the conversation right now about Josh Allen is right along with that. I'm empathetic to quarterbacks, man. And the game of football is nuanced. There's a lot of things that my third guy, so we can end this. Because I have Bo Collins third. Chris Mitchell is number one. Number two, I'm with you. Somebody out of the current roster has to step up.
Current roster,
It
yeah.
could be Jaden Greathouse. If we were willing to bet money, it would probably be on Jordan Faison right now because of his
Jordan
performance
Faison,
rate.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But somebody has to step up, and you need.
I mean,
to
it's
redo.
open. It's open. That's the one thing.
Absolutely.
It's definitely open and looking and taking applications.
And Jaden Thomas could be that dude.
He could. I mean, hey, it's all about the right coach that believes in you, and you're at the right position on the depth chart from a year standpoint where it's put up or shut up in a lot of cases. And the one thing you do know is that you're going to get a chance. You a senior. They're going to have a focus on them seniors, obviously, in the beginning of the year. It's your opportunity to at least get cool with them, Brock. Mike Brown, you know. You got a network now.
Right.
You got a politic for the football this year, for sure.
So, Lucky Lefty podcast. Can I give you now? Tell me what you think about this, Left. I'm just going to say this, and then you give me a quick synopsis, and I'll let it stand. Yesterday, FanDuel put out its Heisman odds for 2024. You ready for this?
Okay.
Carson Beck is 7.5 to 1. Quinn Ewers 7.5 to 1. Dylan Gabriel, now at Oregon, is 10 to 1. Will Howard is 12 to 1. Jalen Milroe is 12 to 1. Nico Imaliva is 15 to 1. He hasn't taken he played in a bowl game, but he hasn't taken a regular season snap as a starter. Jackson Arnold is 18 to 1 for Oklahoma. Jackson Dart is 18 to 1 for Ole Miss. Garrett Nussmeier for LSU, 18 to 1. Noah Fafita is 20 to 1.
Really? As hot as he is on the market?
I thought he should have been higher than the previous 4 quarterbacks, honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, he balled out this year for real.
Riley Leonard is at 20 to 1.
Outside looking in.
Cam Ward is 20 to 1, and Connor Wegman is 20 to 1. What does that tell you if they had Riley Leonard at 20 to 1, even though he transferred to Notre Dame? Did you expect it to be higher, or is that about where you expected him to be?
I know that Notre Dame, he's at that part because of Notre Dame. So I think it's the perfect position you want to be in because you just irrelevant enough that you can build a case. Guys that are that high right now, you supposed to be ready to go out the box. Riley Leonard can slowly build his case during the year with these nice dubs and position himself in some wins later in the season, possibly when other teams arise as competition, right? He can make the most out of it. So 20 to 1 is really good considering the fact that you're in a position where, you know, you can go to the stratosphere with this team. It ain't like you have to pull all the resources together to have a good season. You got the table set, like we always talk about. So he has a chance to really fly under the radar long enough to pop out with some pretty impressive wins late. And then I don't know if they're going to redo when they hand out the Heisman, but if the playoffs make any difference, then that's your time to shine.
Jackson Arnold and Nico being that high is ridiculous.
Well, the money talking for Nico. You know, he's been cornered in a position where it's like, all right, it's time to get this money well paid, like well spent, you know.
Man. Congratulations in order for J.D. Bertrand, who has been named the first team academic All-American sports communication with a GPA of 3.63. Congratulations to J.D. Bertrand, man, on his selection. First team academic All-American by the College Sports Communications. I can definitely see J.D. Bertrand doing TV after a few years because he's going to make the NFL. Special teams probably. He's going to probably be very impressive at the Senior Bowl. I expect him to test decently at the Pro Day and make a NFL team. Probably start a few games, have a nice career in the NFL, and then transition perfectly into sports media. Absolutely, if that's what he wants to do. So congratulations to J.D. Bertrand, man. Can we get into this, Left? How fair is the win-loss upon the quarterback in football? How fair is the win-loss that's laid upon quarterbacks in football?
I mean, it's weighed heavily, but also is very choosy as well, because we've seen guys who are 1 and 2 as prospects with damn near the same record. One gets zero talked about, and one gets criticized for it, but he actually won a Heisman. But they're talking about his season after and the win-loss. They were 7-5. Well, the other guy that you got locked in as number 2, if not 1, didn't do much better. But you don't count those as win-losses because of where he's at. Under the radar basketball team. That's a basketball school.
Yeah.
So maybe the media attention on win-losses are grateful. Like we had our guy, and Ken told you said if you win consistently 8 games at North Carolina, you getting a statue.
Yeah.
A statue. Sam Hartman at Wake Forest might get a statue over there. But them 8-9 wins we had at Notre Dame, that don't get you no statue. That gets you criticized. Because you didn't meet the expectation of winning the 3 games that mattered. So it is weighed heavily depending on where you are. And I think when you are doing it when you're not expected to do it, like a Jameis Winston, go undefeated, win a championship, first year starter, all of that, winning is going to be something they can't take from you.
Yeah.
They can't take it from you. Okay. Now they can't say nothing now.
Right.
But they don't equate the win-losses to a guy that won the Heisman this year. Jaden Daniels was 8-4 this year and won the Heisman. But you got a guy, Michael Penix, who went 12-1 to the championship. A guy, J.J. McCarthy, went undefeated 27-1 in his career and didn't get that factored in as to why they should win the Heisman. So winning and losing matters a lot. I think when you come to evaluation for the league, they really look at win and loss over, I think, in my opinion, anything else, because especially with certain guys. But then the game has become so rigged almost to where you get these super teams, right? Where teams like me and you could play for the same team, have the same surrounding, and do the same numbers because the team is just so good. So your win and losses are almost thrown out the window because they're like, man, you played for the 2022 Georgia Bulldogs, man. My mom could have quarterbacked a great season. Like, come on, man. That's why you got guys like Jake Fromm He was probably like 30-1 as a guy.
But see, that's the nuance of it. You can say what you want to say about Stetson Bennett. I can go pull 3 moments. Remember, we talked about give me the Sam Hartman moments from this year. And we had to struggle to find the moments. Stetson Bennett easily has 3 moments in that season. Even though he played with great talent. Yo, down 10 in the fourth quarter to Ohio State, moments. Championship game against Alabama, fourth quarter, moment. That's your job as a quarterback. Man, I forgot who said this. I think it was on NFL Live. The legendary pass from Joe Montana to Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone in the NFC Championship game. Did you realize that up to that point, Joe Montana had thrown 3 interceptions and had lost a fumble in that game? Nobody ever talks about that. Why? All they talk about is that moment.
That's right.
That helped San Francisco get to their first Super Bowl. As a quarterback, man, it's unfair because your coach can make a terrible decision like Sean McDermott did on Sunday with the fake punt. Your wide receivers can drop passes. I don't have any empathy for Josh Allen and his wide receivers. Dude, Patrick Mahomes dealt with that the entire year. Dude, you don't get no empathy from me as a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes has had a terrible wide receiver core the entire year.
Terrible.
When you have an opportunity to make plays, you have to make the plays. It doesn't matter what has happened before that point. When you have an opportunity to move in the pocket a little bit and hit that post, make it. When you have an opportunity to possibly hit Stephon Diggs or Kincaid on the 3rd down to extend the drive, hit it. Those are Josh Allen, you left it up to the kicker. You could have taken the kicker and the kickers failed you. Totally agree. Tom Brady had Adam Vinatieri the majority of his career. Saved his butt and a bunch of times. Butker for Kansas City, very solid kicker. I think he missed like 1 field goal this year, if I'm not mistaken, in the regular season. That's great for Patrick Mahomes to have. Great. But when you get moments, it really doesn't matter how bad you played, how bad your coach has been. Brock Purdy was awful Saturday, bro. But on that last drive, he was 6 for 7.
Put him away. Yeah. That's why moments matter over wins and losses. But usually moments that you have equate to wins and losses as well. So it's hand in hand, yet can be viewed as, it's like what they call homonyms. They sound the same, but they different. No, that's there and there. What's it called? Yeah, it's like there and there. Sound the same. Wins and losses and moments sound the same.
Man, people got to stop. Stop. Y'all got to stop. It's the same thing. Remember when I say stop protecting Notre Dame? Notre Dame does not need protection. There is no kingdom to protect.
No.
Like, just tell the truth about situations. Even if you have to have a nuanced conversation. Tell the truth about the situation. That's fine. Who said Josh Allen wasn't a dude? We're not even discussing that. That's not even the discussion. We're talking about fairness to quarterbacks. And people that are critical of Josh Allen on Sunday are fair. That's it. It comes with the position, dude. You have the ball in your hand more than anybody else, which means you impact winning for your team more than anybody else. That's football. High school, college, Notre Dame, Buffalo, Kansas City, whoever. And the unfair part is football is not Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen didn't play 1 down against Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
He went up against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, which happens to be one of the best defenses in football. But all these arguments that are being put forth for Josh Allen, I didn't hear everybody ripped Peyton Manning every time he lost to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Ripped him.
Ripped him.
Nobody said, well, man, the Patriots defense is better than the Colts defense. Nobody ever said that.
Nobody cared.
Which is a nuanced part of the conversation, because the Patriots defense was consistently better and had a better coach in Bill Belichick. But nobody wanted to make that excuse for Peyton Manning. Nobody. You lost. Tom Brady beat you again. Period. You can play great in a game. Karl Anthony Towns scored 61 points last night and they lost. And he got pulled by his coach.
They cheated, though. They definitely cheated.
He got pulled by his coach because his coaches said all he was doing was chucking and he wasn't playing defense. You can have a great game and fail in the biggest moment. He failed in the biggest moment. You have to protect him. Tell the truth. He had an opportunity to win the game and he failed. Just say it. It's okay. It's a part of football. His stats were fantastic, but he failed. Brock Purdy sucked. Brock Purdy stunk it up for 3.5 quarters, but when the 49ers needed him most, he came through. It's okay to just speak what it is. Stop trying to dude, why are people afraid to speak the truth in situations, even if it's nuance? Speak the nuance of the situation.
Hell, Dak played great.
Did he?
Yeah, good night.
No, Dak had empty calories, man.
But how's that? That's the same as Josh Allen. Empty.
No, that's not. I disagree with that. I think Josh Allen had a way more efficient game than Dak Prescott had in the playoffs. Don't come telling me Dak threw for 400 when they were down 20-some points because of him. No.
Why not?
No. Nope. I'm not buying that. No.
But Josh Allen do 200 rushing, 200 passing and lose.
No. That's totally different. That's apples and that's the nuanced conversation. That's the fair and unfair, in my opinion. Yeah. That's a nuanced conversation. We're not here to say Josh Allen isn't a dude, but you know what I can definitively say? He ain't Pat Mahomes.
He definitely ain't.
He ain't. I don't care how much of a dude you think he is. He ain't Pat Mahomes.
Period.
He's not. If you want to debate between him and Joe Burrow, have at it. If you want to debate between him and Lamar Jackson, have at it. He ain't Pat Mahomes. He's not. He's just not. And that's fine. You know why? Because Pat Mahomes has moments, far more moments where he's shown up for his team. Because everybody going into that game was saying, this is the moment Josh Allen proves that he is stepping into that next echelon. That was the entire story going into the. If he's going to beat Patrick Mahomes, this is the year he has to do it. This is Patrick Mahomes' least talented team, least talented offensive guys around him, worst offensive line he's ever had. And he didn't get it done. The Buffalo Bills didn't get it done. Sean McDermott didn't get it done. Sean McDermott, if the Buffalo Bills ownership wanted to get another coach, I would have no problem, because Sean McDermott screwed up the 13 seconds in Kansas City. He went for that fake punt on Sunday. Sean McDermott has proved, you can win regular season. You coached your tail off to get us to this point after being 6-6. However, it's not good enough. We need more. With Josh Allen,
we need more.
We need a better coach with Josh Allen as our quarterback. They have a right to move on from him, and I think he's a good coach. This is the conversation left. This is the conversation that's going to surround Riley Leonard moving forward in this season. How much can you really apply to him when it comes to wins and losses for the Fighting Irish in 2024? Because there are some unknowns offensively. This is not like the second year of Jared Parker. This is the second coming of Mike Denbrock in Notre Dame.
That's right.
But how much pressure is given to Riley Leonard? How much blame will be given to Riley Leonard? Notre Dame fans are pretty loyal because heck, a lot of them tried to protect Sam Hart.
Oh man.
In situations.
But they went so hard, but I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why.
And y'all still trying to protect Josh Allen, dude. You don't have to explain the game of football to us. You don't have to do that. It's very simple. Did Josh Allen have the ball with a chance to win the game? Did he get it done? No. That's it. Did he have a receiver wide open in the end zone that he missed? Yes. And see, this is the thing, Left. The gods blessed him, and
the gods blessed him a couple times.
The gods blessed him. The last drive of that game is a microcosm of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And possibly the next step he needs to take in his game.
Yeah. Because it comes in moments.
It's the same thing that happened at the end of the Philadelphia game in the second half. The pick six he threw and the missed throw to Gabe Davis that would have won the game. Where he was wide open. Opportunities right there for you, didn't get the job done. It has nothing to do with his greatness. Moments are afforded to you. Moments are going to be afforded to Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard's going to have to get the job done.
That's it.
He has to. Fair or unfair, that is the quarterback position in football. And that is the quarterback position at Notre Dame. He's going to have to make the big plays. He's going to have to make it. We can sit up here and talk about who he's surrounded by, who he isn't surrounded by. Yo, if you're a dude, let's be honest, Left. If we go look at the full rosters, Deshaun Watson beat a better team in the national championship game. Alabama had a better team than Clemson. Man, depth-wise, Clemson could match up with them at the top. But you want to talk about what was in waiting? Alabama had a better squad. They had a better squad the previous year, and Deshaun almost beat them. Coker is not a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson, but Coker made the biggest plays late in that championship game to get Alabama. And Nick Saban made a great call on the onside kick because he knew they were having problems stopping Deshaun.
That's right.
That goes hand in hand. That's why it's nuance. Big games, your coach has to show up, but your quarterback has to show up in big moments. Doesn't mean that Jake Coker is a better quarterback than Deshaun. Doesn't mean Deshaun threw for 400. Because he lost that game to Jake Coker, it doesn't mean that Deshaun wasn't a dude. He just lost the game. And it's a nuanced discussion. But he came back the next year against an Alabama defense that was better than the previous year, that had vowed they weren't going to let Deshaun Watson do the same thing. They were better than the previous defense of Alabama, and they vowed, we're not going to let Deshaun Watson do the same thing. And Deshaun Watson came back and did the exact same thing against a better defense. He took the moment. He had the ball in his hands with a chance to win against that great Alabama defense, and he made the plays when they needed to be made. That's it. Name me one player off that offensive line for Clemson. He didn't have a great offensive line. This is why the conversation is nuanced, man. Dudes are just able to get it done. Michael Jordan, game 6 against Utah. Dennis Rodman acting crazy all year. Scottie Pippen can barely walk, can't give you anything. Michael Jordan got it done. He got it done. That's a great joke, Bob. SHAUN probably did have some great massages before both of those games. That's funny. That's funny. That's the separator. And it's fair, man. Right? That's why Brian Kelly can be the winningest head coach in Notre Dame history and not even crack the top 5 of head coaches at Notre Dame. Why? Because most people question his big moments and the fact that he couldn't win one. He couldn't win a national championship. That's nice that you have all those wins, but your moment, nah, you don't have one. You didn't come up with your best with your teams in the biggest games and biggest moments. That's my whole thing with Riley Leonard, man. I worry about the young man. I worry about him really understanding what he's stepping into, coming from Duke and being the quarterback at Notre Dame. Because it's not about you now having to carry the load. It's about whether or not you can make the plays in the moments. Because we don't need you to carry the load. We need you to show up in the moments. Show up in the moments. And we've seen the greats, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, you look at his stats, dude, you already know that the run game, the offensive line, the receivers, and that defense that Jimmy Johnson had, you already know Troy was carried to those Super Bowls. But go look at how he stepped up in the championship. Look at his regular season stats, and then look at his stats in the playoffs. Troy Aikman elevated his game in the moments. He elevated his game in the Super Bowls. I'm sorry, that's the differentiator between guys. And that's the next step. Because what you saw in that last drive is you saw Josh Allen almost give the ball away twice on that last drive. And then you saw him make great plays on that last drive. So that's Josh Allen. He'll make boneheaded plays and not take care of the football. Then he'll make the spectacular play that no one else can make because of his physical talent. But what he has yet to do is that moment throw. Right? And I know what people are saying. They're saying, yo, he had that moment throw in the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead with 13 seconds left. You're right. You're absolutely right. He did. But he gave Patrick Mahomes 13 seconds. I don't care what Lazy Frazier called. I don't care that Sean McDermott didn't squib it. Whatever the situation was that was presented to Patrick Mahomes, he figured it out and gave his team a chance to win and then finished it off in overtime. That was a moment where the odds were stacked against him tremendously, and Patrick Mahomes still found a way. Those are the great ones, man. Those are the great ones. And I love Josh Allen. Would I take Josh Allen in Chicago right now? You darn right. I would ship Justin Fields to Buffalo and the first round pick this year. You can have Caleb and Justin Fields if you're going to send Josh Allen to the Chicago Bears. I'll take him right now. Right now. But I can be honest and say, yo, you played fantastic. However,
Your Bears gonna keep him? That's what I want to know.
are the Bears going to keep Justin Fields?
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter, Left. I think the Bears believe that they're closer to winning than they actually are. And they believe that Caleb Williams is the final piece. That's what I believe. I believe they feel like, man, we get Caleb Williams, that's the final piece. our offense is really gonna step up.
Is it delusion or are they just
Absolutely, it's delusional, dude. Because the talent on the roster, dude, they're still chasing. Forget the conference. They're still chasing 2 teams in their division, and Kirk Cousins might be coming back next year.
Yeah.
So are they even better than the Vikings?
Yeah.
With Kirk Cousins, that I think they're delusional. I think because they got the 7 wins, they feel like, oh man, we're really close. We upgrade the quarterback position and make a few tweaks. No, Ed, I cannot take Dak Prescott from your Cowboys. Not at $60 million per year. No, sir. Lucky Podcast. Great show today, love.
That's right.
Great show today, man. You know what time it is, though.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story today brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Okay, left. Petty train. I'm going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. You got Dak Prescott's brother, Tad, saying, look, if I convince Dak to leave Dallas, man, I'm ready for him to leave. Then you got Terrence, the brother of Michael Parsons, saying, yo, man, look, this dude Dak needs to take a pay cut for 40 mil so we can actually put a team around him that can elevate him. Then you got Michael Parsons saying, look, whatever my brother says is his opinion. I don't have nothing to do with that.
Just doesn't spell good.
Then you got CD Lamb's mother tweeting out, Dak ain't it. Dude, this is ridiculous, bro. This
They was 12-3.
Bro. This is crazy. Left, but see, this is the thing. Family members aren't saying this type of stuff unless they're hearing it, dude.
That's all it is.
They have to hear it in frustration from somebody on the squad. They have to.
Yeah, because even if they thought it themselves, they only feel confident in speaking about it because they got confirmation.
Yeah.
Hey, like, man, that man Dak ain't throwing you the football. Man, you know, he ain't it.
And it's as simple as that.
And she's, because her whole thing is, what I got to lie for? He told me. That's all she got to say, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So.
Exactly. It's like, that's how you know when you hear stuff. That's why Michael Parsons is quick. Like, oh, that's my brother's comments. Like, no, you and your brother talk. He's heard you say things before. I trust him. So Dallas Cowboys, come get your ticket punched to the petty train. Now, I guess he won the Super Bowl with the Giants. Super Bowl winning former center. He was an all-pro center at one point. Now he's for the NFL, works on the NFL Network, Shaun O'Hara. Oh, man. Yeah, dude.
Jamal Moses is a good friend of mine. I had him in Cleveland. And I congratulated him when he got the job, and he was like, Twan, I'm teaching them how to set a proper screen. And he's not talking about rookies. He's talking about guys that have been in the league for 2 or 3 years. And I'm just like, we learned that in college, fundamentals and things of that nature. So the game of basketball has changed. I mean, imagine us playing in today's game. Jamal Moses.
So as former NBA player, we'll get to Sean O'Hare in a second, but Anton Jameson, I put him on a petty train, and it's nuance. I agree with him, Left. I agree that there has been a departure from fundamentals. But I think when you chase the money, as the NBA has done, by going to the G League and allowing players to come in at a younger age and not go to college for a couple of years, fundamentals are going to fall off.
That's
and
right.
you should know that. And it shouldn't be a shock to everybody that fundamentals are lacking in the NBA when you had an NBA that he walked into where most players played for 2 or 3 years. Anton Jameson, you played under Dean Smith for a couple of years, my brother. Vince Carter was there with you, my brother. Of course, you guys came in knowing how to set a screen. The landscape was different. It was different. So for that, I'll put him on a petty train, but he's totally right. He's totally right.
Totally right.
Now, Sean O'Hare, bro.
Jamal Moses is a good friend.
Come on, man. I hope I didn't duplicate the same video. Let's see.
You better put Josh up there. I would put him in front of Lamar the way he's playing.
Okay,
right
that's fair.
All right, we going Mahomes?
Yeah, let's go Mahomes.
Next.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty easy. That was easy.
Oh,
Was it easy?
Was it easy?
easy at the time. Look, well, listen,
No. You're not going to get off the hook with
Josh played his butt off, and look, he's won. We got robbed again.
We
As NFL fans.
You French?
As NFL.
I didn't know we were French.
Hold on, let me finish this. As NFL fans, we got robbed by another chance to see more Josh Allen in that game. If the kicker makes the field goal, we're going into overtime. So I go back to that 13-second game where they changed the overtime rules because of that game, because Josh didn't get a chance to do that. But look, those rankings right there, I mean, you could change them week to week if you want. But still, I'm taking, regardless of the outcome, I'm taking Josh Allen every single time.
Why are you taking Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes, the guy who's won multiple Super Bowls? He's been a multiple MVP, both in Super Bowls and the regular season.
I think Mahomes has the better team. That's why. But pure quarterback play, I think Josh Allen is better.
You're not going to get me going viral. You're not getting me going viral on that. That came from Sean. Sean O'Hare, that did not come from Bucky Brooks. No.
You can't argue that the Chiefs have a better defense right now.
I mean, they do have a better defense.
Better tight end, better running back, better offensive line. So, look, Mahomes, this is not a disrespect on Mahomes. Look,
Shut up. It is a disrespect. What are you talking about is not a disrespect to Patrick Mahomes? Dude, give me your ticket, man. One way.
Ooh.
Never to come back
You
again.
can't get off. Yeah, you can't get off this shit.
Never to come back again. See, this is that foolishness I'm talking about. Bro.
What?
This is Patrick Mahomes' league. And if y'all don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. If you don't like it,
cry.
that's fine. He's that dude. It's his era. Deal with it. The nerve to try to say that this dude,
non-MVP, non-Super Bowl appearances,
and then to say for pure quarterback play. What?
Pure quarterback.
Pure. That's your reasoning. Pure quarterback play.
Come on, dude.
I'm gonna stop before I say something that doesn't fit who I am as a person.
Yeah, I can't. I'm speechless. I can't even. That's crazy.
This man, Bucky Brooks, wanted to tell him something, but ladies and gentlemen, that's the type of foolishness. See, that's when you get this narrative that people have to defend a certain dude. You get foolishness. Because it's one thing to have the conversation about.
Yeah,
Josh
you can
Allen.
talk.
First of all, there is no conversation about Josh Allen being good. That ain't great. That's not even a conversation. That speaks for itself. Come on, man. I don't even care if the producer said before the show, yo, we have to argue both sides of this.
That's fine. But
That's fine.
you just being negligent. They had dropped all these facts and you just said, I don't care. I'd still just then he said it's interchangeable every week. No, it's not.
If he had said, to me, in my opinion, Joshua talented quarterback in the NFL.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
When you say pure quarterback play, your producers need to be better. You have to be better. And it was one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard. Ever.
Taking an 0-3 guy, then saying the guy got a better team all the time? No.
Dude. And like Mike Parks, dude, I know entertainment. I've been behind this. I know how this works.
But that's a bad take.
He did a terrible job conveying the message, and his producers did a terrible job providing him with the facts needed to argue that side.
That's it.
Horrible. That's it. I don't care what side you take. Make a valiant argument. He didn't. It was the dumbest I've ever seen. It's the dumbest I've ever seen. So you go to the petty train either for your argument or for the fact that you actually believe that crap. Either way, it doesn't make a difference because they're both bad.
Yeah,
they're both bad. Horrible. Dan Orlovsky yesterday was bad. All day. Just bad.
Bad TV.
Understand he was taking one side of the argument. Dude, you're bad. You're being bad right now. Stop. This goes to our whole too. Nuance. Fairness. Just in life, it doesn't exist for a lot of people. It just doesn't. But you know what we get if we're blessed left? That breath I took means I have an opportunity. I got a chance left. If I go work my tail off, I got a chance.
Yeah.
And it's up to me to take advantage of the chance, bro. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Lucky Lefty podcast. You got anybody else to put on the because I know you probably put Stephon Marbury on the for his comments.
Yeah, it's just 2024 is starting out with a bang. There's been a lot going on, but the ones we covered were the main ones I was thinking of too.
Man, look. Great show, Left.
Yep.
Dope show. You guys have been fantastic. You guys have really locked in on this 10 o'clock new start time with us, man. We thought it would be best, and it's turning out to be that way, man. For Left, I'm SD2 Mics, man. We'll see you tomorrow for another great episode of the Lucky Lefty podcast. Have a great Tuesday. Make sure you spend it different.